Libra, my dear soul of balance and beauty, this Friday, November 28th, is not just another day on the calendar. It is your lucky day, a turning point written in the stars, when something big and beautiful is preparing to unfold in your life. If you've been waiting for a sign, this is it. This message, this moment, this exact video, none of it is random. Because when the universe is ready to bless you, it does so through a whisper, not thunder. And if you're hearing these words now, Libra, it means the whisper has found you. Welcome to Zodiac Whisper Tarot. This is your deep, spiritual horoscope reading, not surface predictions, but a heartfelt decoding of what the universe is orchestrating behind the scenes, especially for you. You see, on November 28th, Venus, your ruling planet, forms a powerful trine with Pluto, triggering a cosmic doorway into transformation. And the cards echo this. The wheel of fortune turns in your favor, signaling that an old cycle is ending and a miraculous shift is coming into your reality. You may not fully see it yet, but you can feel it, can't you? That slight unease, that restlessness in your spirit lately, it's not confusion. It's preparation. Your soul has sensed the shift long before your mind could name it. And now, you're being called. In today's reading, I will walk with you through the astrological alignments guiding your breakthrough, the tarot cards speaking directly to your emotional, financial, and spiritual growth, the signs and symbols the universe is sending you right now, and finally, a sacred message, a moment of divine clarity you've been silently waiting for. Before we go any further, let me take a moment to say something important. Thank you. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for being here. Every like, every share, every kind comment you leave, it breathes life into this sacred space. It keeps this community alive. Your presence here isn't just supportive, it's powerful. Because when you listen with an open heart, the universe listens back. And it listens louder than you think. Now let me ask you, Libra, what drew you here today? What inner voice whispered, click this? You didn't come here by accident. You were guided. And your energy is part of something bigger. So take this moment to respond to the universe. Comment below and write, I am ready to receive my miracle on November 28th. That simple act becomes an anchor, a declaration, a quiet agreement between you and the cosmos. Because what's coming next? You'll want to hear it to the very end. Stay with me, Libra. There is a reason your soul pressed play today. And I promise you, before this video ends, you'll understand exactly why. There are moments in life that don't simply pass, they align. You might not realize it at first, but something in the air feels different. A quiet pulse shifts, like a soft nudge from the universe asking you to look again, breathe again, believe again. For Libra, November 28th is that kind of moment. A sacred pause in time when the stars are not just above you, they are speaking to you. When Venus, your ruling planet, forms a harmonious trine with Pluto, it isn't just a line in an astrological chart, it's a vibration felt in your inner world. Venus governs your values, your relationships, your sense of beauty and balance. Pluto, meanwhile, dives deep into transformation, shedding old skins and unearthing truth from beneath the surface. When these two celestial bodies join and flow, they activate something profoundly intimate. A personal reckoning begins, not dramatic or loud, but tender and sure. This is when you feel a pull to leave behind habits, beliefs, or dynamics that no longer match the person you are becoming. It's a cosmic permission slip to step into the next version of yourself, without guilt or hesitation. The Wheel of Fortune, as it appears in your reading, reminds you that change is not a punishment. It's a rhythm. It's the spiral nature of life, sometimes upward, sometimes inward. The wheel turning in your favor doesn't mean sudden riches or dramatic shifts, though they can happen. It means the alignment of opportunity with readiness. If you've felt like you've been circling the same lessons, this card offers a release. A signal that your energy is finally catching up with your effort. Doors open not because you force them, but because you are now vibrating at the frequency of what you've prayed for. And speaking of prayers, have you noticed the numbers? The 1111s, the repeating 8s, the mirrored timestamps like 28:28. They aren't coincidences. These repeating numbers carry a subtle language. They're like fingerprints left by divine timing, reminding you that yes, you're being seen. Yes, your patience is noticed. Yes, this moment was prepared just for you. Sometimes people wait for grand signs from the skies. But often, divine response arrives in a much quieter form, a text message just when you were about to give up, a stranger's kind word, an old friend resurfacing with unexpected news. That's the universe saying, I never left. I was always preparing the moment for you to arrive. And if you're feeling resistance, if you're tempted to doubt whether this shift is truly yours, remember this: God doesn't rush miracles. But when they arrive right on time. So maybe this Friday, instead of pushing, you could pause. Instead of chasing, you could choose. Let your hands be open. Let your heart be soft enough to receive what is already on its way. The lesson isn't to fight for more, but to recognize that what is meant for you will know how to find you even in your stillness. And yes, faith is part of this journey. Not blind hope, but a steady trust, the kind you build slowly through quiet moments, whispered prayers, and sacred reminders that you are not alone. You've endured, Libra. And because of that, something is being returned to you, not as a reward, but as a response. A response to your growth, your choices, your truth. Perhaps it's time to look less at what you should do, and more at who you've become. Because who you are now is exactly who this moment was waiting for. Sometimes, the most profound shifts don't begin with action, but with stillness. Libra, after everything you've weathered, the inner battles, the questions that kept circling your thoughts, the pressure to keep holding it all together, this part of your journey is not about pushing. It's about allowing. It's about the quiet return to yourself. And this is where the card of Temperance arrives, like a gentle guardian whispering to your soul, you don't need to fix everything. You just need to make space. Temperance isn't loud. It doesn't demand. It doesn't rush. It's the energy of divine balance, of spiritual composure. In the language of astrology and energy work, it represents the sacred blending not of opposites, but of all the fragmented parts within you that long to belong to each other again. Your rational mind and your intuitive knowing. Your vulnerability and your strength. Your past and your potential. This is the moment when they no longer have to compete, they can simply coexist. In peace. The most incredible truth about this stage is that peace doesn't come after things fall into place. Peace is the energy that causes things to fall into place. That's why the moment you stop trying to chase the outcome begins chasing you. It's when your heartbeat finally slows enough that you start to hear things clearly, the song that randomly plays but stirs an old longing, the memory of someone you haven't thought of in years, or a feeling of déjà vu when you meet someone new. These aren't random. They're alignments. They're energetic signatures. They're the soft signs that your inner self is aligning with outer blessings. And in that sacred stillness, a deeper truth arises. Your value was never measured by how much you accomplished or how hard you tried. Your value was already written not by what you did, but by who you are. It was there before the heartbreaks, before the disappointments, before the striving. It's written into your soul, and nothing can erase it. Even if you've forgotten it for a while, the universe hasn't. You see, we live in a world that praises doing. But there's a kind of healing that happens only in being. Just like how a garden doesn't need constant tending every second to bloom, it needs space, nourishment, and the trust that nature will do the rest. So too do you. Maybe it's time to give yourself permission to pause. Not to quit, but to gently lay down the armor. Let your shoulders drop. Let your mind breathe. And in that breath, invite in something greater than control. Invite in trust. One of the most powerful reminders I often return to, especially in seasons like this, is the knowing that we were each created with intention. You were known, loved, and chosen long before the noise of the world told you otherwise. Even in the moments where you feel invisible or uncertain, your worth has never been in question. That quiet promise of grace, that unseen hand guiding you back to peace, it's always been there. When peace becomes your priority, clarity follows. When you choose rest over rushing, guidance shows up in the gentlest forms. A call. A sign. A sudden moment of knowing. These aren't delays. They're orchestrated moments of alignment. Let them in. You don't have to understand them right away. You just have to receive them. So if you're feeling the urge to slow down, to listen more, to stop explaining your path and just walk it, honor that. That's not weakness. That's wisdom. Because when your heart touches peace, everything begins to bloom from there. Not overnight. Not all at once. But in the most natural, effortless way, like morning light through an open window. And Libra, you are the window now. Let the light in. Let the healing begin. Let the balance return, not as a goal, but as your true nature finding its rhythm again. Not every connection is meant to last forever, but every meaningful connection holds up a mirror. And Libra, in this moment of deep alignment, your heart is being invited to look into that mirror with clarity, compassion, and courage. Whether you're currently walking through life on your own or sharing your journey with someone else, love is not just a feeling waiting to appear. It's an energy you're now learning to hold. And hold well. There's a reason the Lover's card rises for you now. It's not just about romance, it's about alignment. This card arrives when your inner world is ready to reflect back through another person. If you're single, this reflection may come in a form you didn't expect, a familiar gaze from an unfamiliar face, a simple conversation that stirs something long asleep in you. It's not fantasy, it's recognition. Soul recognition. The kind that doesn't need dramatic gestures or sweeping promises. It speaks in comfort, safety, resonance. As if a part of you had been quietly calling out, and now that call is being answered. For those already in a relationship, this phase asks for something far more tender than effort, it asks for presence. Love does not always require grand repair. Sometimes, it simply requires re-seeing each other, The truth is, we live much of life side by side with the people we love, but not always heart to heart. This season invites you to return to that space between the words. To look across the dinner table without distraction, to touch without needing to fix, to speak not to be right, but to be real. The smallest gesture is a quiet hand on the back, a glance that lingers 2 seconds longer. These are the new languages of intimacy. And if there's something you haven't said, something you've longed to express but tucked away, this is the time. There's healing in vulnerability. And there's strength in choosing softness, especially when it feels risky. Let love be honest, not perfect. Let it grow from where you actually are, not where you pretend to be. Sometimes we mistake love for something to earn or something to chase. But the truth is, love is drawn to the places where we are already full. That's why this journey of alignment always begins with how you treat yourself. That's not just self-help talk. That's frequency. When you show up to your own soul with attention, with reverence, with care, you begin to emit a kind of clarity that draws the right people, the right energies, and yes, sometimes, the right kind of love. Try writing a letter not because you'll send it, but because your heart deserves to speak. Take yourself out on a date, not because you're alone, but because your presence is worth celebrating. Let love begin inside you, and let the outside world rise to meet it. And when you meet someone who reminds you of who you are when you're at peace, that's when you'll know. You don't need to be perfect to be loved. You don't need to heal everything to be worthy. Sometimes, the only thing standing between you and the love you've been praying for is the willingness to open your hands, to stop gripping so tightly to what should be, and simply hold space for what is becoming. If you've ever wondered whether love can still find you, consider this: love never left. It was simply waiting for the moment your heart became soft enough to receive it again, not with fear, not with doubt, but with peace. And when that happens, Libra, you won't just feel love. You'll become a vessel for it. Not because you needed someone to complete you, but because you finally remember you've been whole all along. Prosperity doesn't begin in your bank account, it begins in your mindset. And Libra, at this point in your journey, the energy around your finances is shifting not because of luck, but because of the work you've been doing internally. When the Ace of Pentacles appears, it's not just a sign of money flowing in. It's a sacred invitation. A door is opening, yes, but not one you stumble into blindly. This is a doorway you've earned through clarity, alignment, and faith in your own becoming. You may feel the energy of new financial opportunity brushing up against you now. It could look like a message from someone offering to collaborate on something meaningful. It might be the return of an idea you once abandoned because you didn't believe you were ready. Or it could even come in the form of something material: a refund, a payout, or an unexpected financial resolution. But what matters more than the how is the who you are when it arrives. Because the Ace of Pentacles never just asks, "Do you want more?" It asks, "Are you ready to become the kind of person who holds more with grace, with purpose, with peace?" That's why this isn't about money. It's about energy. It's about whether you're rooted enough in your worth to trust that you can receive without guilt, spend without fear, and build without pressure. The most abundant people I've worked with don't chase wealth. They steward it. They understand that money doesn't create security, security creates the space for money to stay. This is the part of your evolution where you get to rewrite your story about money. If scarcity taught you that you need to overwork or overgive to feel safe, this moment asks you to challenge that. It offers you the chance to create a new pattern, not one where you earn to survive, but where you thrive by being in alignment with your gifts, your timing, and your truth. That starts with small, clear actions. You don't need a perfect system, just an honest one. Start with a simple expense tracker. Not to restrict yourself, but to observe your energy. Because money is energy, and where your money goes reveals where your attention flows. Consider investing, if not in stocks or crypto, then in something more personal. A course that excites you. A new tool for your craft. A tiny step toward a bigger dream. You're not spending, you're replanting. And every seed planted in self-trust grows something that will eventually return to you in form and in feeling. It's also okay to move before you feel completely ready. Some of the most transformative wealth journeys I've seen began with imperfect beginnings. Don't wait until the plan is flawless. Wealth isn't built through perfection. It's built through consistency and courage. Even if your steps are small, let them be sacred. Let them carry the energy of, I believe in what's next, even if I don't fully see it yet. Color is a carrier of frequency, and this season, the frequency of emerald green is deeply aligned with your vibration. It speaks of healing and truth. It asks you to embody your values not just emotionally, but practically. Wear it. Visualize it. Let it remind you that abundance is safe, that your truth is profitable, and that peace is part of prosperity, not separate from it. You may feel a new kind of confidence rising in you now, one that isn't loud but quietly firm. It doesn't scream, I'm rich. It whispers, I'm ready. And that readiness will become the magnet not only for resources, but for opportunities that reflect the frequency of your faith. So don't rush this process. Honor it. And trust that what you're building now, both within and around you, has the power to outlast any momentary gain. You are not here just to attract wealth. You are here to become the kind of soul who can hold it well. Healing doesn't always come through answers. Sometimes, it arrives through alignment, the quiet, steady return to your own inner rhythm. After all the movement, all the reflection, all the soul work you've been walking through in this journey, Libra, this part of the path isn't about fixing anything. It's about remembering. Remembering that you already carry within you a light that no hardship can dim. The star card appears now not as a promise of something far away, but as a mirror of something already alive within you. Something that was never lost, only waiting to be seen again. You may have believed that certain things were taken from you. Opportunities. Health. Confidence. Moments you'll never get back. But the star brings a deeper wisdom. What feels like loss may have been redirection. What you had to release wasn't punishment, it was preparation. For something purer, more resonant, more in line with your soul's true longing. You're not being asked to chase after anything right now. You're being invited to receive it. Open your body, your breath, your heart, and let the healing in. This is where the body and the soul meet in sacred conversation. And often, the softest rituals carry the greatest power. A simple practice like stepping into morning sunlight, letting it kiss your skin before the noise of the day begins, tells your body, you are safe. You are seen. Placing your hand gently over your heart and speaking the words, I allow miracles to enter my life, isn't just a mantra. It's an agreement. A contract between your soul and the divine timing that governs your life. It shifts your energy from defense to invitation. Gratitude, too, is more than a mindset, it's a frequency. Writing down just 3 things you're thankful for each night can begin to reshape the way your nervous system responds to life. Instead of scanning for what's missing, you train your awareness to recognize what's present. And what we recognize, we expand. Gratitude multiplies what matters. This is also a time to tend to the temple that carries your spirit. And not from a place of discipline, but from devotion. Drinking warm water with lemon in the morning gently awakens your digestion and signals clarity. Adding magnesium-rich foods to your meals like leafy greens, bananas, or pumpkin seeds nourishes not only your body but your emotional resilience. And taking just 5 quiet minutes before sleep to breathe deeply and release the day reminds your body that it doesn't have to carry everything overnight. It gets to rest. It gets to be held. You don't need to overhaul your life in 1 week. You don't need to adopt a perfect routine. You just need to begin listening. Gently. With patience. With the same grace you'd offer someone you love. The light within you is not missing, it's just been buried under the weight of old stories, old expectations, and perhaps, old self-judgment. But now, as the star shines its subtle glow, you are being reminded, you are not broken. You are becoming. Take this season to remember that your body is not just a vehicle, it's a vessel. A sacred space worthy of care, worthy of rest, worthy of joy. When you treat your body like it houses something divine, everything shifts. Your choices become less about control and more about connection. Your actions become less about performance and more about peace. What if you treated your body as if it were a sanctuary? What if you gave it the same reverence you offer to the people you love most? You don't have to earn that kindness. You already deserve it. Let this be your return. Not to the version of you who always had it together, but to the version of you who knows, deep down, that being alive, being present, and being gentle is more than enough. And maybe, just maybe, that's where the miracle begins. Libra, as you sit here with me at the end of this sacred message, I want you to take one more deep breath, not just to relax, but to truly feel the shift that has begun within you. What's coming on November 28th isn't something you need to chase, force, or earn. It's something that's arriving because you are ready. Not because life is finally perfect, but because your energy is finally aligned. The universe doesn't wait for us to be flawless, it waits for us to be open. You may have spent months or even years wondering if your moment would ever come. If all your quiet work, all your inner healing, all your faith in things unseen was leading anywhere. And I'm here to remind you that it was. This Friday is not just a date on the calendar. It's a threshold. A chance to step into a version of yourself that no longer doubts, no longer delays, and no longer settles for less than what your soul truly desires. But this isn't about passive waiting. It's about conscious receiving. You're not here to wish and hope, you're here to choose. You are the one who opens the door. You are the one who says yes. You are the one who aligns your thoughts, your emotions, your actions, and your faith, and from that place, the miracle begins. Because miracles don't happen outside of you. They happen when you're brave enough to trust what's already been placed inside you. So ask yourself, what small shift can I make today to align with the life I want tomorrow? What if abundance isn't a finish line, but a feeling you begin practicing now? What would happen if you truly believe that what you want also wants you? You have everything you need, Libra. You have the wisdom to listen. You have the heart to feel. You have the courage to act. You have the power to heal. And now, you have the permission to receive. All you must do is allow. Let this be the moment where you stop postponing your joy. Where you stop shrinking your dreams to fit into spaces you've already outgrown. Where you stop waiting for the perfect time and start remembering, you are the perfect vessel for divine timing to work through. And when it feels uncertain, when the path ahead is quiet and the signs are subtle, remember what we spoke about today. Remember that the wheel is already turning. The light is already rising. The door is already opening. You don't have to know exactly what comes next, you just have to be present enough to recognize it when it arrives. Now, before we close, I want to invite you into one small action that can anchor all of this into reality. Comment below, "I am ready to open the door on November 28th. Don't just write it for the algorithm, write it as a sacred agreement. A declaration. A whisper to the universe saying, I believe in what's coming. I believe in who I'm becoming." And if this message resonated with you, if you felt seen, guided, or simply a little more hopeful, I ask that you gently press like, subscribe, and share this with someone you love, someone who might need a reminder that they too are worthy of a fresh beginning. Thank you for being here, Libra. Thank you for your presence, your light, and your trust. You are not alone on this path. You never were. And here at Zodiac Whisper Tarot, you are always welcome. This is the place where your soul is heard. This is where the sacred becomes simple. This is where you remember that the light you've been looking for has always lived within you.